My dear lovely students of grade 10, welcome back to my English class once again. It's RK English YouTube channel. Students, today I am at unit number 15. It's people and places. In unit number 15, today we are going to discuss about reading first text. And before reading first text, students, we have some pictures given here. We have some pictures of people and some pictures of places here. So students, before discussing reading first, let us discuss about the pictures. In the first picture, what you see here, students, you have to identify about this picture. First picture is of very clearly it's Bhupi Sirchan, and second picture it's Kavi Shiromani Leknath Paudel, and the third one is Vishnu Kumari Vaibhav. What do you know about these personalities, students? All these personalities are Nepal's famous writer, and all these belong to our country Nepal, and all people are the most famous writer of our country. And in the fourth and the fifth picture, we can see in the fourth picture, it's a picture of Lakpa. It's an airport, a very dangerous airport, not in the Nepal but all over the world. In the world, it's the most dangerous airport in the world. In the last picture, we can say it's a temple in the Kathmandu Valley, and it's all about your picture, students. Now, let's talk about another picture is here. Look at the picture and answer this question. And we have reading first text, students. Again, before reading first, we start. So we have to find out and we have to identify about the picture. Who is the person in the picture? Very clearly, students, we can see in the picture, and the person in the picture is Jamak Kumari Ghimire. A B question is, what is she famous for? Students, she is famous for her autobiography. It's Jivan Kada Ki Phool. Now move to the its text. Reading first text. In reading first text, students, we have the title "Me at the Beginning of Life." In this title, in this text, we are going to discuss about the autobiography of Jamak Kumari Ghimire. Here in the text, and let us start the text. I have understood now that life is a beautiful flower of creation. In the first line, students writer says that I have seen now, I have felt now that life is a delightful blossom of it's a bloom of creation created by God. Whether my own life falls within my definition of life, well, I don't know. Whether my own life, comes under inside my meaning of life, all things considered, I don't know, and I don't have the positive idea about the real life. When my heart swept, I survived because inside the pain, laughter was restless each moment. Students, at the point when my heart sobbed, and I met you on the grounds that inside the aggravation, chuckling was restful and very uncomfortable every second, writer says. When I say that somehow or other I survived a it's a burdensome life, few will believe me now. Again, at that point, students, when I say that in some way or other, I tolerate or I endure a difficult life, hardly any will trust me and hardly anyone had belief on me now. The truth is extremely bitter, the reality equally uh, inspired. And here, student, in this line, you know that truth is always bitter, and truth always seems very bitter. Where reality, it's boring and uninteresting. Many times, while turning those pages of memory, I myself have shed tears. Whenever she expresses to them that whenever I turn my pages of memories, those memories of my life, I was the only one who can help myself, herself, and I was the only one who can clean the tears of tears from my eyes.
Such unlucky lines of fate were inscribed for me when I fell to the ground from my mother's womb. Womb means here, students, it's a belly. And the carving inscribed means the carving or written. She says that it's all because of the destiny, and such unlucky and unfortunate lines had been, I think, already written for me and because by the destiny. And when I came on the ground, or when I got birth from my mother's belly, she says that it's all because of the my destiny.
Next paragraph, students. On the sixth day after my birth, my mother bathed me and washed me and made me clean and put me to sleep with an exercise book and a pen under my pillow. Again, students, she expresses herself as on the it was the day, or it was the sixth day of my introduction or my birth to the world. Then my mom washed and made me clean and put me with the and put me bed with an activity book and a pen under my pillow or bed. It was a folk belief that fortune would write any lines of fate on that night, but it was a society belief, or it was a society conviction that luck would write or compose my line of destiny on that evening. This is what believed by the society on that night. At that night, mother, you wanted fortune to draw a good line of fate right across my brow. Mother, you maintained that you thought that fortune or luck would define the distant boundary of destiny right across my brow. Brow means here means forehead. But that was just your belief. Yes, fortune didn't draw my line of karma well that night, nor did it write a good line of fate. In the last line, student, she expresses that indeed, but whatever, mother, you thought about my fortune or my destiny, but it didn't happen. Indeed, fortune didn't define my boundary of karma well that evening, nor did it compose a decent line of my destiny. In the next paragraph, students, here, time had filled my pockets with packages of ill fortune. Here means pockets, and packages means, and so in the line, the time had filled his life, her life. Time had filled her life with the bundles. Package means is the bundles of so many bad things, or bundle of sick fortune or sick luck, and it means that our life had been filled by bundles of sick fortune or bad things. I was a girl who had never rode by fate, who had either the sweetness nor the joy of life. In the second line, she expresses that I was a young lady who had been, here is robbed means it's a burglarized, and by destiny, destiny means luck, who had neither the pleasantness nor the delight of light, who didn't have any pleasant and any delightful life so far. So, how could life be as I had imagined? In the end, I had to live, and so I did. Now, students, how is it that life? So, how is it that life could be as I have thought or I have envisioned? In the end, I needed to live, thus I did. But I lived as if there was no difference between the life of an animal and the life of human being. Yes, students. In the end, I know. In the end, and I indeed to live thus I did, and in any case, I lived as though there was no, there was no difference or no contrast between existence of a creature and the existence of a person. Here is meant creature and animals. It refers to animal, and it means she was living a life like an animal, and there was no difference between human being and animal. That is what she expresses through this line. The only difference was that even though I lived an animal's life, I ate rice. Here in this line, students, and The main distinction, and we can say main thing, was that despite the fact that she carried on with the creature's life, it rise. That's us all. A life without the invisible sympathies and sensations of human heart, which has no heart, no color, no individuality. Perhaps only a few people get through its conditions. Here in this line, students, an existence without the undetectable feeling of impression of the human heart, and which has no harmed, which has no variety, no singularity, maybe just just not many individual transpose this condition. A poet might want to write a beautiful poem about escaping from this kind of life. Some sensitive person might like the story. An artist should compose or write students a wonderful sonnet, about getting away from this sort of life. And this sort of life, an artist, they should compose or write a wonderful line and sonnet about getting away from this miserable life. But some delicate or conscious person could like this story, but at that time my life was such a burden that it hurt me, and it had become hard to endure me to tolerate and undergo. It's the pain. Students in the last line, however, around then, um, my life was such a way that it hurt me, and it was really miserable, and it's a very tough one, and it had become hard to get through the torment, and it was becoming for me to bear all this. Next paragraph here. In everyone's eyes, I was someone who had been cursed by God, because in this life I had received the fruit of sin from a former life. In this paragraph, students, now she is again expressing, and in everybody's eyes, no, everybody eyes, I was somebody who had been revealed by the divine being, and in the light of fact that in this life I had gotten the product, and I had gotten the result of sins. Sin means the wrong things, which she had done in the previous life, and previous, and that in the life had got the product of sin from the previous life. Students, in this line, she thought that she thinks, and she expresses that it is all because of her sin, and this is the result of her sin from a former life, which might she had done in her former life. This is because of this. I had been born into society whose culture said that people lived from one birth to another. Again, and and, she had been, or she said that I had been naturally introduced to general public, whole culture said that individual lived starting with one birth, then on to the next one. So I was thrown that pricked means poach, and everyone eyes then. So she was a thistle that pricked, or she was like a pin, and that was pricking everyone's eyes at that moment. When they saw me, those eyes didn't fill with sympathy, and that heart never melted with love. At that point, students, when they saw me, those eyes didn't load up with compassion, and the heart never dissolved with the affection. Who were very displeased with me, who were very angry in the end. How right was it for them to be like this, to be a tender, innocent child? In the last line, students, so she expresses who are extremely disappointed, they are not happy, and who are not happy, and who are exceptionally, irate. Eventually, how right was it for them, to be like this to a tender, innocent child? I had no option but to endure all of those things in silence. In this paragraph, she expresses like this to a delicate and honest youngster. Innocent child means very innocent and helpless youngster. I had no choice, she had no choice, except for tolerating through those things peacefully, or to she has no option. She has only to be to tolerate all this thing in silence. Inside my child heart, the question continually arose: how am I to blame or fall? All of these. I had no medium through which to express this, no language, no way of indicating through gestures, no power to utter it. Through this line, students, she wants to, express again, and she wants to express that inside my youngster heart, you know, the inquiry, persistently emerged. How am I to fight for all of this? And I had no medium, or I have no way through which I can communicate, or I can tell someone this. No, I have no language, and not a chance of demonstrating or showing something through signals, and no ability to, you know to to do some body postures. I had life, and that was all, and a little breath that was messed up with it. And how suffocating was my life! There was no existence from it anywhere. If there had been any way out, a river of life would have flowed unseeingly along with the time. In the last lines of the paragraph, students, she expresses and who were extremely disappointed with me, were exceptionally irritated, and there was no exit from there, to go any places. And in the event that there had been more some exit plan, but a waterway of life would have streamed persistently alongside the time. Next paragraph. Blessed nature, you gave birth to me to endure the cruel behavior of human beings, and you woke the meaning of being me. Blessed nature means here she is going to thank God, and she says, thank you, God, and forward nature and favored nature. You brought forth me, and me to preserve through the brutal way of behaving in this world. And you arose, and you told the importance of being me, and you told me the importance of life. And so that's why, God, I am thanking to you very much. She expresses, when I was restless with suffering, you become my mother and wiped the tears that swept from my eyes. At that moment, at that point, when I was fretful, and when I was in misery, with enduring, you turned into my mom, and you became my mom, and at that moment, and cleaned the tears that comes from my eyes, and that leaked from my eyes. That is what she expresses about the God. And in this line, in this paragraph, she's going to thanks the God. Now, mother who bore me also gave birth to me, even though it was to suffer pain. She fostered me for 9 or 10 months in her womb and gave birth to me. The mother here means a mother of Jamakumari. The mother who bore me additionally brought forth me. Despite the fact that it was, to bear torment, she cultivated me, and she cultivated me. And she took care of me for 9 to 10 months in her belly, and brought forth me, and me. In this, neither she nor I was at fault. I was the fault of fate. It was the fault of fate. And in this, students, she or I was, I was to blame. Neither she nor I was to blame, and no one had any fault. It was the issue of destiny. It was the issue of, it is because of the destiny, and it is the definition of disability merely to be born with a bodily incapability. If so, why do they not consider home incomplete? Why did the world never consider the Nikolai Otrosky and Helen Keller incomplete. So here, through this line, students, she expresses that it's all because of the destiny, and no one was guilty of this, and we can't blame anyone, and it's all because of the destiny. Is the meaning of, again she says that, is the meaning of inability only to be brought into the world with a real insufficiency, provided that this is true. For what reason do they not consider home complete, Homer adequate, and for what reason did the world never consider the Nikolai Otsosky and the Helen Keller deficient? These people were weak in body just like me. These people are also weak just like me, and they were also disabled just like me. These individuals were feeble also in body, very much. They were very much like me, but they wrote history before they departed. They left us a different perspective. Perspective means students' point of view and outlook. They set down the meaning of being human before they passed away. And the final students, she expressed that these individuals and these people were feeble in body, very much like me, yet they composed or they written history before they passed away and before they died. They left us an alternate point of view, and they put down the significance of being human before they gone away, before they passed away means before they died. The next paragraph here. But me, I was born in a world very different from theirs, born in a different geography. But me, students, again, she says that the writer says that I was brought in the world in a different, altogether different from theirs, and brought into world in an different topography. Geography means different place. For this reason, I lived a life that was so unequal and low grade that maybe only an animal could have lived such a life before. And so she said, thus I carried on can be the daily existence that was so inconsistent and poor quality that perhaps just creatures might have carried on with such a day-to-day existence previously. When I achieved awareness, the sort of unconsciousness had begun to spark in me, I think. At that point, again, students, what happened, what she's going to say. At that point, when I am completion, when I become mindfulness, the fires of some awareness and careness that developed and that started to grow in me, I think so. But even achieving awareness become like a course. I didn't have a choice, a voice which no speak to speak, nor any strength in my leg to walk. I think students be that as it may in any event accomplishing mindfulness and becoming like a rebel. I didn't have voice also with to talk, which to talk and where to talk, and nor any strength in my leg to walk. It means instead of having all the strength and power, and I was not able to walk, and because I have no strength in my leg, I could, no, nor was there strength in my hand that could fill a basket with Godavari, Mahakali, and Sunakhari flower. And also, I don't have power in my hand so that I can lift up the basket of Godavari, Mahakali, and Sunakhari flowers, she says. No, I had nothing of all that, nothing of this at all. She says, I have, that's all for me, and I have nothing except all this power. I was a helpless girl, bereft of all these things, and those mind was filled with a longing to run up the hill, but whose feet didn't have the strength to support her body. Again, students, she says that no, I didn't have anything of this by any means, and I was powerless, young girl and young lady, deprived of everything, and whose psyche was fully loaded up, eating to run to the slopes, yet those feet didn't have the solidity to her to help her body. I longed to walk with others, but I had no voice, because these desires were ones that would never be fulfilled. They fell upon me, wounded. Then I cried, and I, the in the final line, students, she says that I yearned to chat with others. She was willing to talk to others, and she was yearned to chat with others. Yet I had no voice to, to say. And since these longing and these desires were ones that could never be satisfied, they fell upon me in injured. Next paragraph here, students. Yes, I was so robbed by fate that I was unable to even get up from my bed. Indeed, again, I was so, ransacked by destiny that I couldn't get up from my bed. My poor grandmother, white-haired like the moon over the hill, might have picked me up and taken me on the lap, and my unfortunate grandma, grandmother is grandma, and she was having headed like white hair, and like the moon past that certain point could have gotten me and taken me on her lap. And how she must have longed that her son's first offspring here means children, and son and daughter would call her grandmother, and how she should have yearned or cried that her child most memorable, posterity would call her grandma. It means she would be very happy after hearing the word grandma from her son's children in its baby voice, that it would pull at the wrinkle on her face with its little hand. In this paragraph, students, she expresses that in its little child was, little child voice, that it would pull at the its kings all over, with its little hand, little hand mean baby's little hand. She would pull at all the kings all over with its little hand. But grandmother, I could not fulfill your wishes. But grandmother, I am very sorry, and I couldn't fulfill your that wish. She expresses, your your other grandchildren fulfill them. Grandmother, so your other grandchildren, your will be will they will fulfill this your wish, but I can't. I am not. I am not able to fulfill this one, because I am not able to do that one. But other grandchildren can, they can fulfill your wish. All I did was hurt you when you cried me on your back. How you must have you loved me on again, and yes, in his child was, so all I did was harmed, and you when you conveyed me on your back, and you probably cheered me. No. So this is all she expresses in this paragraph, students, about the grandmother. And the next one is, let's start the paragraph. At that time, the economic condition of our home wasn't so good, so the extent that it was very hard to manage 2 meals a day, morning and evening. Students at that time, during that time, it was very difficult for them to manage to arrange 2 time meal, and because the condition on the financial condition of our family wasn't good at the time, and around on then, the state of the condition of our house wasn't good and super, and to make that overseeing who two dinners every day, morning and evening, was extremely, it was very tough. I have heard that that the mother and the father often went hungry at mealtime, but somehow or other they fed us. So I have heard that mother and my father frequently or sometimes they went hungry at eating times. However, some way or other, or different, they took care of us. Grandmother, even that wasn't enough for you. You fed me and made me greedy even though you went without food yourself. Grandma, even that was insufficient for you, and you took care of me and made me insatiable despite the fact that you did without food yourself. And on top of that, you took me to sleep with you and you gave me many different things to eat every time I woke up all through the night. Oh, how good it tasted, the food you gave me. In the final line, student, she expresses again about grandma, and she says that grandma, and you you did, you did without food yourself, but you did feed us. And furthermore, in addition, students, she says, and you took me to lay down with you, and you gave me many things to eat and various things to eat each time, and I awakened all as the night progressed. And how great it tasted, the food you gave me, and each and every food you gave me was very tasty, and it was really very tasty, and its taste was great, and the food you gave me. Now, students, we are at the final paragraph of this text. In the final paragraph, students, let's talk about this. Grandfather, grandmother, if you had not wrapped me in a torn up petticoat and put me a bamboo basket, I might still have been peeing and soling in my bed today. Or I may have already arrived with you in the heaven that people imagine. Here is the word mean. Petticoat is a kind of it's April, and that is mostly mostly wore by women in the Nepal. Grandma in this text, and grandma and grandmother, in the event that you had not enveloped me by destroyed underskirt and put me in a bamboo basket. It means if you didn't do that, and it's I could in any case have been peeing and you know it's dirtying my bed, bed my bed today, or I might have proactively shown up with you in the paradise that individual vision. Paradise is heaven. Heaven means paradise. I don't know, but because of you, I touched the various color of life and understood life from a various angle and experienced the beauty of life myself. Grandmother, you are not with me. That is your misfortune. It's a trouble, difficulty, but you are still living all through my heart and mind. Here in the final line and the final paragraph, students, she expresses, no, she no, finally says that grandma, in the event that you had not, enveloped me by a destroyed underskirt, and destroyed here means student torn up underskirt, and put me in a bamboo bushes or bamboo basket, I could in any case have been peeing and dotting in my bed today, or I might have proactively shown up with you in the paradise that individual envision. And I don't have the forgotten forget idea also, but since of you, I contacted the different shades of life, and grasped life from different points and encountered the magnificence of my life. And grandma, and you are not with me now, that's your mischief, but be that as it may, you are as yet living, and all through my heart and brain. Students, finally she says, grandma, you are in my heart, and still you are living in my, you know, living all through my heart and my brain. This is all she expresses in the last paragraph, in the last line about grandma. So, students, we have discussed about the autobiography of It's Chamak Kumari Ghimire, which is taken from the autobiography that is Jivan Kana Ki Phool. Yes, it was the text taken from and the opening chapter of that is Jivan Kana Ki Phool and translated by Michel Hutt. It's a Michael Hart is the who is the writer and who has translated this text.